Okay, now we'll discuss Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's visit to Ukraine with journalist Hakki Ocal, who joins us live. Good afternoon, Hakki Ocal, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, Dilek, I hear you.
Hello, thank you for joining the program.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've just been bringing some live pictures from Ukraine, from the capital there. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan arrived moments ago, and we're waiting for him to be greeted by his Ukrainian counterpart and the Ukrainian delegation there. Now, how important will this visit be, not just for Turkey, but also for Ukraine and Russia, with whom Turkey has special ties with both countries?
Special ties in the sense that Turkey was the second country recognizing the Ukrainian independence after the collapse of Soviet Union. The first was Russia. Strange enough, but Russian Federation was the first country to recognize their independence. Right now, Putin is busy penning articles claiming that there are no Ukrainian nation, there are no country as Ukraine or something. The importance of this visit is underlying this fact that Ukraine is a country, and there are such a thing as Ukrainian people, and Turkey is recognizing them and in trade with them, in diplomatic relations with them, and they are only in relations with them, they are going to further it. Now, right now, Turkey and Ukraine are strategic partners. That means they are increasing the level of trade and technological investment in each country. Also, Turkey, importance of this visit comes from the fact that Turkey is in a very distinct, different position within NATO that recognizes not only in the Ukrainian independence and the territorial integrity, but also Turkey is very good neighbors with Russia, and we've been doing too many diplomatic initiatives with Putin. Recently, two countries were trying to stop the occupation of Nagorno-Karabakh in Azerbaijan, and Turkey and Russia were together very effective in ending this war between two countries, Azerbaijan and Armenia. Also, the two countries are in good relations in Syria, and well, maybe Syrian relations are not as good as Turkey would like to see, but still they are cooperating in a very positive way.
Before departing for Ukraine earlier today, President Erdogan touched upon a number of topics, and the most important was his meeting with Zelensky. He said Turkey will continue to protect Ukraine's territorial integrity and security in the face of Russian aggression. How are you expecting today's meeting to unfold?
Dilek, I think President Erdogan is going to understand, to evaluate the situation from the Ukrainian perspective, from the Ukrainian side. One should never ever forget that two major parts of Ukrainian territory is under Russian occupation or under the occupation of some proxy forces of Russia. Turkey is going to understand the impact of this fact on Ukrainian people, so that Turkey can easily convey those sentiments to Russian side. Apparently, right now, Putin and his close circuit in the management in Russia are not paying attention to the inputs coming from Ukraine right now. They are simply insisting on what they call Minsk protocols, and they would like to see them implemented, and that's it. But there are many other things attached to those protocols, and Ukraine is not the Ukraine that it was in 2014 when those agreements were signed by the Ukrainian government. Right now, Ukraine is much stronger militarily, and much cohesive politically. Ukrainian people are not going to coalesce easily to the Russian demands anymore. At any moment, at any point, if any Ukrainian government tries to put up the Russian demands, they are not going to accept this easily. There would be very huge, very strong popular resistance to any approach and appeasement to the Russian side coming from the Ukrainian government. I think Turkey is in a position to convey those sentiments easily to Mr. Putin when he comes to Turkey after his visit to Olympics in China.
Okay, all right. That was actually my next question. Now, as you said, the Russian president has accepted the invitation and will actually come to Turkey after his meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. What do you make of that visit, and in which key areas will we see political negotiations taking place?
I think Mr. Putin now values the friendship of Erdogan to him. Erdogan is very sincere person. He tells whatever he says in front of the cameras, behind the cameras in the closed doors, and he is not playing any tricks on behalf of the United States or any other European countries. So probably Putin will come to Ankara with an open mind, and he will sit down and listen to Erdogan. This is important. He is going to hear that the importance of peace in the Black Sea region. Apparently, following the post-Soviet policies of NATO, United States right now is trying to draw the attention to this region, either as a mirror, smoke and mirror policy, so that they would be doing the real thing in the southern China Sea against the Chinese government, or he is really intends to put the fire in the Black Sea. But in any way, President Biden is going to create this new leadership in the United States to impose or to make the world understand that the U.S. is again back, and they are in control of the global affairs, and he is not a Trump anymore. You cannot push him around as you would the Trump presidency. But they can do it in a way that is beneficial to Ukrainian people. A war, a classical war, as you and I understand, in the sense of Vietnam or Afghanistan or Second World War, is not going to help Ukrainian people. The aim, if there is a secret or sinister aim that Putin could follow in Ukraine, is to partition, to dismember this country. It is doable. You can foment popular uprisings in the country. There are many Russian-speaking people, and many people who would like to see, as part of the Russian Federation, that it would be beneficial to their small areas, localities. That's not good, and the U.S. should understand this, and Putin also should understand that the West, or I hesitate to use the word West, because France and Germany is not part of that West anymore. They don't want a hot war or cold war in the area once again, and they don't like to see the U.S. goading Putin into war again, They would like to sit down and discuss certain things. And I think Turkey is going to convey this message to Mr. Putin whenever he is in Ankara.
Absolutely. Now, Erdogan has reiterated on many occasions that a war between Russia and Ukraine or any other country wouldn't benefit anyone. Now, in case Russia did attack Ukraine, what immediate regional implications could we possibly witness?
Well, first of all, the war will not going to be an operation that's going to end overnight. This time, unlike, as I tried to say, 2014, Ukraine has a stronger army. They had only, 14,000 soldiers. Now their army is close to 500,000. Also, we should keep this in mind. Ukraine was the second industrial and military base of Soviet Union. They have all the factories, they have all the investments of the Soviet Union against the West militarily, and they are using them. They are benefiting. They are making those factories work. The interballistic missile factory of Soviet Union is in Ukraine. So they are not sitting idle there. They are producing weapons. So any Russian war against Ukraine is not going to be a blitz operation overnight or something. It is not going to work this time. It will be very long, very painful for both countries. Again, I think presidents are going to salute each other, and Erdogan is also going to make everybody see that a war in Black Sea is not going to be a war confined in the Black Sea only. Georgia is in the United States or NATO's list of the next member of NATO, and there are people in Georgia who do not like this idea. Some do. And so there will be internal issues in Georgia and other countries too. I mean, a war is not going to benefit Russia in any way. No way. I mean, they are not going to win anything. And so probably that is why Putin keeps telling everybody that he's not going to occupy Ukraine.
Hakkı, I'm sorry to cut you off, but let's just go over live back to the capital, Ukraine, to listen in on the Turkish anthem, if you like. Okay, so we continue to bring you live coverage from the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, where Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has arrived on an official visit. And we just listened to the national anthems of both countries. And now the two leaders will engage in a greeting ceremony for Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, accompanied by First Lady Emine Erdogan and his delegation there. President Erdogan. President Erdogan is looking to play a role of mediator here during talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to ease tensions between Kiev and Moscow.
Evet, Sena'nın gazı hemen araya girebiliriz. Kim bu?
So this is live coverage from Kiev in Ukraine, where Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has arrived for an official visit, and there he's joined by his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky. A military greeting has just taken place, and the two leaders will embark on talks shortly.
Onları göremiyorsunuz. Biz onların arasındayız. Onları da selamladıktan sonra şu anda Ukrayna lideri Zelenski ile sohbet ederek.
All right, so before we went to those live pictures in Ukraine, we were talking to journalist Hakki Ocal, who was giving us details and updates about the details of President Erdogan's visit to Ukraine and talks that he will carry out with Volodymyr Zelensky. So he joins us again now. Hakki Ocal, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello,
I do.
Thank you for staying with us. Now,
Oh, please.
Okay, so we both just saw the national anthems there, and the President has been greeted by his Ukrainian counterpart. Now, I just wanted to ask you, one of the main topics that will be covered during his visit is the highly anticipated free trade deal, which will be signed today between Turkey and Ukraine. Can you take us through that deal and tell us why it's going to be beneficial for both sides?
Number one, when you say trade between any two countries, you look at the numbers. If they are going up steadily, you may say that, okay, they are good trade partners, they benefit from this relationship. And the Turkish-Ukrainian trade is increasing constantly. And right now it is around 7 billion, and both countries intend to carry it even further. The strategic trade agreement they are going to sign is part of the mechanisms they created almost 10 years ago, two countries. So it shows that it is beneficial to both countries. This is number one. Number two, Turkey is selling them some military equipment. Those drones, manned or unmanned, armed or unarmed, unmanned aerial vehicles. Turkey is producing, manufacturing, and Turkey is selling them to Ukraine. This is important. And recently they used it against those separatists in the Donbas area. Apparently, Turkey is going to use some interballistic missile technology that Ukrainians have in the short run. These are important trade relations, technical trade, commercial relations between two countries that we should be paying attention when we are evaluating the relationship between these two countries.
Okay. Now, the other main thing that we have been talking about it with you as well, the other main thing that Erdogan is looking to cover is play the role of mediator between Russia and Ukraine. But also he's hoping to bring together the two leaders, Volodymyr Zelensky and Russia's Vladimir Putin, when he visits Turkey. Do you think that we'll have tangible results after these talks with Erdogan and Zelensky in Ukraine, or will it be something that we'll need to wait until Russia's Vladimir Putin is also engaged in these talks?
It is so important, like that we should keep the peace in the area restored, maintained, and provided for a long time. One cannot hardly say that it is not going to work. I can say that it is difficult to even accept that this mediation is not going to work. However, any mediation needs agreement from all sides involved. Not only Ukraine. Ukraine said they are ready for Turkish mediation, but also it is important for the Russian side to accept this mediation. It is very important. And I think the level of trust between two presidents, Erdogan and Putin, is in such a level that after this, especially after the Nagorno-Karabakh cooperation of the two countries, is going to work for the benefits of mediation efforts that Erdogan is going to play. If Putin comes to Istanbul, to Ankara after China with an open mind, I think he will, because Russia, the NATO is right now insisting or threatening Russia seriously, despite the fact that France and Germany are not really part of this threat, but Britain is. Is it important? And the other former East European countries are there, and it's also their support is important. But yet the trust is important. The most important part here. The Turkey can tell, frankly, to Putin the red lines that NATO is not going behind it. For instance, this open door policy of NATO. If you accept for one single moment that NATO is not going to accept any country in the area, in Europe, in the North Atlantic region, not as a member of the alliance, because Russia doesn't want that, well, that means NATO does not exist anymore. It is that important. So Putin must understand that this is not a step that NATO can take back. However, we also have to understand this NATOification policy of the West after the collapse of Soviet Union. NATO is treating Russia as a new Soviet Union. That's not nice. That's not true. That's not correct. NATO shouldn't be putting those nuclear wall around Russia. It is not nice. And any sane Russian intellectual over the age of 30 who witnessed the collapse of their universe with the disintegration of NATO, the Soviet Union in 1991, had this trauma in their mind, in their system. Yet, they don't want to see this time the Russian Federation is in the target of the NATO arms, and they want to disintegrate Russia this time. They don't want to see that. It is very difficult to accept for any Russian intellectual to say, yeah, that could be the policy, and we have to deal with it. Nobody can deal with this. Anybody would easily go to the idea that, well, we have to fight with NATO now. Fighting with NATO is not easy for Russia either. First of all, NATO is a nuclear power. the superpower, the sole superpower of nuclear world is the boss of NATO, that is the United States of America, and they are a very strong nation commercially, militarily, diplomatically, human resources-wise, and everything. Therefore, it is not going to be an easy war with NATO from the Russian perspective. They have to sit down and accept certain things and push NATO to accept other things. For instance, in his last response to Russia, United States said in this response to their December 17th memorandum, well, we are not ready to discuss the open door policy or for membership, but we are ready to discuss the placement of nuclear armament in Europe. Russia should take advantage of this. Turkey can be instrumental in realization of this promise or this I don't know step on the right direction. NATO said this, and Russia should push Turkey and other countries that are in close relationship with them to make NATO implement this discussion of relocating the nuclear arms in Europe. This is important. It's also important for Europeans. I mean, sincerely, look, almost half of the European energy is coming from Russia. Who wants to have to go and spend another good, hard-earned euros and everything for the new energy resources or anything? You can make Russia accept boundaries. They shouldn't be doing whatever they did in Donbas area and Crimea and Abkhazia in Georgia. It's not going to be tolerated. Putin should understand this, and Turkey can tell him that that is the case. I mean, yes, you are also a very important country, you are a good neighbor and everything, but occupying other people's lands by force is not anymore acceptable in the modern world. He will understand this. I think he is Putin. If you look at from his perspective, he is trying to declare that to NATO, to the United States, that you cannot push him around anymore. That is the message he's going to give. Mm-hmm. And if he understands that, West understood this, probably there will be no more Donbas or Abkhazia or Crimea initiatives coming from Russia.
Okay, Hakki, thank you so much for joining us once again. It's always a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you. Thank you very much.